Going into 2025, I was just so hopeful for fashion games. I wanted to start off by saying, hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Clover, of course. And I've been getting a lot of questions and DMs on Discord, comments on YouTube, most of which I have hidden from our channel, but I have tried to respond back. I just don't want my whole channel to be filled with kind of this negativity, which completely is understandable. But I thought that I probably should just make a video about it as a content creator, in air quotes, because I am a very small content creator and I have not been doing content on fashion games for a long time. Yes, I did do them back in the day, but I took like 2 or 3 years break from fashion game content. So I am coming back to the space and I thought it was going to be a little bit different, of course. I want to talk about the state of fashion games in 2025 because going into it, I was so excited. We had, of course, 2024 seemed like a pretty okay year for fashion games. We had like Fashion Dreamer, Life Makeover, Model Debut 3. But I think now, reflecting on 2025 and where we're at, it's just like a little bit sad. I don't think grim is a good word to use, and there has been like a lot of impending doom with all the different games that are out there. And what exactly do you do about that? Well, you reflect, you think about what games align with what you want to do, or you disconnect from the discourse and play the game however you want to. I think any other way that you decide to move forward and enjoy or not enjoy these games is completely up to you. But I think for me, I'm still really rooting for this genre as somebody who loves style savvy and really is rooting for the idea of like a actual fashion game to come back, because we had Life Makeover, not Life Makeover, we had Fashion Dreamer, but that did not feel like a fashion game in the traditional sense, where it felt more like a dress up simulator, which has its own place. But at the end of the day, I just feel like there's a little bit more that I'm looking for out of a fashion game. And I think that we saw that with Infinity Nikki launching. We saw a fashion game that did have a story and does have a story to it, but it's not kind of this, Zelda Breath of the Wild-esque story that's all consuming and all encompassing, because the focus of Infinity Nikki is really on the clothing. Obviously, it is a gacha game, which is unique, which isn't unique, let me say that, for the fashion gaming genre, because we have a lot of gacha fashion games. We've had Love Nikki, Shiny Nikki, Life Makeover, and a bunch of others. SuitU. There's a lot of different fashion gacha games, and there's so many that are exclusive to Japan and exclusive to China. So there's a lot of fashion gacha games that have happening, currently happening. Even technically, Movie Star Planet, the game that I used to play, was not gacha because there wasn't like any hidden stuff, but it was pay to get sets. Like free to play, paying to get sets. But yes, Infinity Nikki launched, and this was something that players were really scared about and hesitant about. But I think kind of going into Infinity Nikki and having played Infinity Nikki free to play for probably like the first 2 months or 3 months of the launch, I can definitely say that you can play the game free to play perfectly fine and still interact with most of the story. Well, all of the story, but there might be like Mirror Crown or whatever that might be like impossible, which, it's probably not impossible. There's probably some free to play players that are able to clear all of those. And of course, being free to play doesn't mean you can't pull on banners. It just means that you most likely wouldn't be able to complete every single banner in Infinity Nikki. As we are in this video that I'm filming for you today, we're dealing with the 1.5 drama. So there's been a lot of drama around this 1.5 update, including but not limited to the bugs of the multiplayer, which the multiplayer function was something that I was really looking forward to, although I don't really, and I still don't really have people who I know that play Infinity Nikki. It's still exciting that there is a multiplayer function for a fashion game. We don't really see that in a lot of them. Obviously, you know, they have it to different degrees, but you've never really been able to like play alongside somebody like that, like you are able to do in Infinity Nikki, and I really hope that they are able to kind of iron out a lot of the bugs in the feature. And then obviously there is kind of the one that has kind of taken over the conversation, which is the change in the intro story. I don't know, this was something I didn't even notice and realize because obviously I played the intro story when it first came out. Um, so I didn't really realize that they had like made any changes to the initial story. And I don't really know how I personally feel about that. Obviously, I know that they're doing a lot for this 1.5 update, and obviously we saw the kind of unique intro that we got for the story. But I know that a lot of players are really upset that they're like changing the lore, which I completely understand. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that they would do that. But I hope maybe with all this player feedback that they'll kind of, you know, after the 1.5 update, they'll just kind of revert back to what was the original kind of way that it took place. And maybe that little intro sequence, or, you know, the 1.5 sequence will be unlocked at some point in the game. I don't really know how they would structure that. But then also we do have the complaints about the increase in 5 stars. So Infinity Nikki is a very expensive game, and every single update it does become a little bit more expensive. This is not necessarily the case for kind of light spenders, because obviously if you're like a light spender, you're still going to be light spending. It really, I would say, is like gets a lot more expensive for like medium spenders if you're trying to actually complete sets, but not every set. I feel like that's kind of where I sit, where I'm kind of like a dolphin, so to speak, maybe like a little bit more than a dolphin. But I don't like, because I just pulled for like a full evolution. I feel like a dolphin would like not pull for a full evolution. But I would say that like it's definitely becoming a little bit more expensive, and with the increase to 11 pieces, the dying function, those are two things that do cost real world money to engage with, and it's kind of challenging to wrap your head around these changes. But I come from playing like Life Makeover, where those 6-star sets have so many pieces, and 6-star sets in Life Makeover, even though I do spend on the game, are still something that like I don't do normally. Like I don't really see a 6-star set in Life Makeover being one that I pull for, except for that mermaid set whenever that comes back. If it does come back, I will be pulling on that, and you know, I don't care. But it's expensive, and I understand why players are frustrated, and I'm glad that they said that they are going to stick to 11 pieces instead of getting us up to 14 and 12, because those final evolutions are really where it hits the spend. It's like, okay, the difference between, you know, 200 pulls and 180 pulls, like there is a big difference there, but it's really when like you're thinking of like, oh, to finish this evolution, it could go all the way up to like 500 if they, you know, if the pieces continue to increase. So I'm really glad that they did the 11 pieces. And I know that players were really upset that there was kind of a difference of like where that intro sequence was and the socks that weren't there, and they like added socks to outfits that didn't need socks. And I understand like that. Like I feel like there's been a lot of people being like, oh no, we should be happy about them adding more elements to an outfit. And I feel like that's kind of a double-edged sword of like, well, if you think of like Life Makeover, they'll like split a necklace into 2 pieces. That is not necessary. That is not something that's like, you didn't need those 2 pieces. In Life Makeover, they'll offer like a million palettes too. So it's like, you did not need to split this necklace or split these leg pieces into 2. They'll say for customization purposes, but it's not. It's just to further monetize the top spenders, because they know that those individuals will complete all these sets. So it takes kind of those top spenders and kind of the, you know, local Chinese audiences to really engage with them in a way that will stop that like gross monetization, so to speak. So that's kind of my thoughts on Infinity Nikki. I have been really enjoying the update. I know that a lot of people haven't been, but I haven't experienced a lot of like game breaking bugs, thankfully, and I feel like my tune would be a lot different if I was experiencing those bugs. And I'm sorry if you are, and I hope that those bugs are fixed, because you should be able to play a game, especially one that you paid for. You know, it's a free-to-play game, but we're spending money on it for the most part. Obviously, a lot of us are being free-to-play, and I think, honestly, the way to have conversations and meaningful change in the game is just stop spending. Just stop spending. If you don't want to spend, if you don't want to support a game anymore, just stop spending. You can still engage with the game, you can still, be in the subreddits and be in the communities, but just stop spending on the game. If you don't think it aligns with your morals and your values, do not spend any more on the game. And if not spending money on the game makes it less fun for you, well, it just kind of is the nature of a gacha game. I think that I really hope that they are able to address all these issues, because going into our next conversation is SuitU. I haven't talked about SuitU on my channel because I just have honestly not had the time to kind of go into this, and I'm not going to be going really deep into SuitU. I can actually link a video down below that kind of highlights a lot of the thoughts of the community on SuitU. Just a lot of issues in terms of AI art, lack of transparency, refusal to kind of acknowledge the issues that have happened, and they've just kind of moved on as if nothing has happened. And players are just still spending, still having fun. I think that's kind of my biggest issue with SuitU, is that I feel like the community is just, I don't know, because these issues are big. When Infinity Nikki had issues that were big, the community addressed it and forced the company to make a change. SuitU's community is not the same. Obviously, the Chinese servers for SuitU is a lot smaller than the Nikki games, so that's probably why the impact is not felt as strongly. But yeah, no, SuitU just didn't address any of the issues that they had. None of them. They just went along as if nothing had happened, and so did the community. And I think that's kind of what made me really confused, is that they gave them 100 gems and everybody just kind of moved on. And obviously the people that decided to stop playing SuitU decided to stop playing SuitU. And that I've only been logging in to do my little to get my monthly rewards, but it will not be featured on my channel until there's some kind of official confirmation that this issues that they have been accused of and that they were, exposed for doing are stopped, and they're able to kind of address them and move forward in a meaningful way. So it's I don't know. Yeah, SuitU is something that I've had to step away from, and I'm not saying you have to step away from it. It's just simply something that I'm choosing to do with my time. I think now that we've talked about two little fashion gacha games, it's time to talk about the console releases. The console releases of the present day, which are Fashion Dreamer, obviously, which upon its initial release, I was actually really excited for, and I think Fashion Dreamer had really a lot of potential. I think the characters, the art style, it's all really cute, it's all really fun. But then when you actually play the game, you realize there's nothing to it. It's really just a console dress-up game, which I don't think it's classifying as a, I can't classify it as a fashion game. Even SuitU, even Life Makeover have story to them. Obviously, they're both pretty much also dress-up simulators, but they have kind of something to them. Whereas Fashion Dreamer was so empty, and it was, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have been oh, it was over hated or whatever, and I'm honestly, I feel like it just was so irrelevant that not a lot of people hated it. A few people didn't like it, made their opinions known, and everybody else just didn't play it, or played it for a little while and then dropped it. I don't know. I've been thinking about possibly giving Fashion Dreamer a second chance and doing a let's play over here on our channel, or live streaming it. But let me know down below in the comments, how do you feel about Fashion Dreamer? Because I was so excited about it. They made it really clear that this was not going to be Style Savvy-esque, which red flag. Because like, just reheat those nachos. Style Savvy was never a bad game. They could literally just port Style Savvy over to the Switch and it would be a hit. Maybe not like a global hit, but the girls would like it. The girls would play it. The girls would stream it. The girls would create videos on it. I'd create videos on it. So it's like, instead, we're going to put all of our resources into creating this whole new game. And it just flopped. It flopped and it has like no longevity. And that makes me sad because console fashion games are kind of like my magnum opus of games. Style savvy trendsetters, style savvy fashion forward, style savvy styling star, or whatever the the game is. Those are like perfect games. All of them bringing something unique, except for like those last three, because those are kind of all like reheating the nachos, but like, you know, adding like garlic and then, you know, making it like a little cuter as they went on. But you know, the first Style Savvy was just, it just had so much character. And I really am excited to revisit those on our channel here with all of you because I will be doing a series on those. I don't know if it'll be in May or if it'll be in June, but stay tuned because I will be doing a series on those. And I would love to like either play Style Savvy Trendsetters as a series and like go through Trendsetters, Styling Star, Fashion Forward or whatever, and like do them as a chronological series and then stream Style Savvy the original. I feel like that might be like a little fun thing to do, but I have to understand kind of my schedule going into it because I don't always have a lot of time for streaming, unfortunately. But let me know down below. Do you want to see me revisit the Style Savvy series? Because right now, with all this controversy, I just am not into discourse. I don't want to argue with people. I just want to like play my little fashion games and do that. So it's like, I can play games in my own time and still support the individuals that are looking for changes in their games. But like, I'm just not a discourse girl, I fear. I fear I'm not here for discourse. I'm like a YouTuber with like a few subscribers. Thank you again to everybody who subscribed to me. But it's like, you know, I just play these games. I'm just like an enjoyer of fashion games. I'm not like a content creator, so to speak. I'm not paid to do this. I'm just, you know, having a nice time and I share it with you sometimes, you know. But on to Model Debut 3. We're still at our like console releases. So this one happened, I think it was either this year or like the end of last year where they ported it over to global. But we got Model Debut 3, which is a ported over version of like the Nicola Model Debut games, which I don't think we got like one or two over here in the US, but I'm pretty sure those exist and they're like Japanese exclusives, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, maybe I'll make a video on that game like in the future and like actually do research. And this is just like off the cuff, off what I'm thinking in my head. But of course I played Model Debut 3 and wow, we have a story. But we're lacking the customization and diversity. And it's like, ugh. We needed Fashion Dreamer and Model Debut 3 to just come together. We need a collab. Can we work it out in the remix? Like, we need a collab. We need a collab of these two games. Like, Model Debut 3 had some story, had some elements to it, had something, like, some backbone, something that you could sink your teeth in. But the customization and diversity, opportunities and options were laughable. Obviously, they released for an Asian market, but even Life Makeover, Infinity Nikki, Shiny Nikki, all games that have released for kind of Fashion Dreamer and all of these games that, well, I don't know if Fashion Dreamer was targeted at like an Eastern release, but Model Debut 3 just really let me down in terms of those skin tone options, and that's like not something that would have been super hard to add to the global release. I've seen a lot of people online talk about that, like they don't mind that issue, and it's kind of frustrating that people would say that even. I'm not one to create controversy or create drama out of nothing, but I feel like skin tone options is like not something to be dramatic about. That's not dramatic. That's just like it's like disrespectful. This is a fashion game. You should be able to represent yourself, and they should be able to represent more than a few people. And if your budget is low, or your, like obviously Infinity Nikki only has 3 skin tones, which is laughable still. But like, people don't like often complain about the skin tone issues because I guess to some that like covers individuals. Like it just, they have like a light, a medium, and a deep skin tone, and to some people that's like, oh, that's enough. But Model Debut 3 did not even have that. They had like extra light, and like light to medium, I think, and then it was just like over. That was it. Which for a global release in 2024, 2025 is really laughable. And like almost disrespectful to the community, the global community, to be honest, because it's like, okay, there's barely any fashion games. We want to support the games that do come out, but then it's like, you can't see yourself or create yourself, which is like, it is what it is. And also, I loved Model Debut 3. I mean, I liked some of the story aspect. But like the fashion wasn't really there for me. Like it was cute. The clothes are cute. You could figure something out. But like it wasn't there for me for whatever reason. It felt more like a girl's fashion shoot to Style Savvy comparison, if you know what I mean. It was just not everything that I was looking for, but I feel like there was elements to it that really worked. And it's like, if we can get another fashion game for our consoles, maybe on the new Switch we could see a fashion game at some point. I just think they need to reheat the nachos that we already have. Fashion Dreamer had some great customization. The clothes were, they were serviceable. There was quite a few different styles, and it worked for some, didn't work for others. Not, is what it is. But like, it just didn't have a story. Model Debut had a story, lacked the customization aspect. So it's like, what if we just did both? Well, you don't have to be as customizable as Fashion Dreamer or, well, Model Debut 3 didn't have like that big of a story, but like, you know what I mean? We can come somewhere in between where it's like, we have customization options, we have a story, the game doesn't have to be huge, it can just be, it's like, Style Savvy is a game from 2012 or 2013, and it's able to, and I'm talking about Trendsetters because I feel like Trendsetters really just did something completely different, not different than the original, but it's like, it just had a different energy and had a different tone that was like otherworldly, and like something shifted when Style Savvy Trendsetters was released because it was just everything. And that's all I have to say about that. And then it's kind of like, what else is there? What else is there outside of the controversy? Well, of course we have Life Makeover. I talked a little bit about the controversy. There is controversy, but they haven't done anything egregious to my knowledge. Hopefully they don't, because, like, I feel like it's like that Sabrina Carpenter song where it's like, please, please, please don't prove I'm right. Like really, please don't, because I do not want to have to come up on this microphone and address more controversy. Like, you are embarrassing me. Infinity Nikki, like, how dare you? SuitU, how dare you? Like, I'm embarrassed. I'm just so embarrassed. Like, The Sims, I'm embarrassed. Like, all these games that are targeted towards women are, like, so, like, mistreat the communities. And it's so disparaging and so disrespectful because it's like, I mean, obviously, I feel like it's like games targeted at men. It's almost like the community bullies those games for being like diverse and woke in quotes, etc. You know what I mean? Like Baldur's Gate. Oh, Baldur's Gate gets released. Everyone is up in arms. Well, not everybody, but the boys are up in arms that there's different romance options, and it's gone woke, so to speak. But it's like, ugh, versus we're dealing with companies that are being disrespectful towards its like gaming audience and disrespectful to the genre of the games that they're releasing. It's like, ugh, no. There's something here. There's some kind of more psychological approach that you could take to this discussion, where it always roots in like something with like misogyny or whatever. Not to like get too deep into things, because I don't really think that deeply about things, but sometimes I do. When I do, I'm like, oh, I should probably like go play with my Tamagotchi or something. Unfortunately, being an enlightened woman is not always the most fun. But yeah, there's something to be said about that, where the communities that represent games are treated very differently, and the companies that release these games treat their communities very differently. It's hard to stomach, and coming from the doll community where there's never a lack of controversy, but again, I don't want to be adding to the discourse and adding new ideas and new thoughts and new whatever. I just want to recap it, share it, and hopefully we can move forward. But I did want to go back to talking about the state of fashion games. So what can you play right now? Or what could you play if you don't want to be engaged with any controversy or craziness that's going on? Well, of course you could play Life Makeover. I've been playing a lot of Life Makeover. Unfortunately, I haven't been connecting with these sets that are released. Obviously, I wasn't really into that new 6-star set, but guys, I did a few pulls because I think I should let myself do like at least, well, I loved the 4-star, so I wanted to get the 4-star. So I did like about 30 pulls. I got the wings and I got the hair of the Life Makeover 6-star. Like, girl, the luck. The luck was there. And I'm never touching that 6-star again because what's left? The bracelets, the feet accessories, the hand accessories, the rings, the jewelry hair accessories that, there's one on the front, then there's another on the back. It's like, girl, I got the hair, I got the wings, I'm done. I'm never touching that banner again. If it reruns, so be it. But I'm never touching that banner again in my life. And then obviously we have like that new little not new, it's a rerun of the Panda set and the other set, that like Easter set. I still remember when those came out. I saw pictures of those before I was even playing Life Makeover, and I didn't like them then, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not playing this Life Makeover game. And obviously, but Life Makeover, I've been loving Life Makeover personally. I think that it's an expensive game. I would say it's more expensive than probably all of the other ones if you're really like a spender like I am. It can get expensive, but I'm tempering my expectations with Life Makeover, and honestly, Life Makeover releases a lot of skippable banners for me, which honestly, thank you for that. Also, this is actually really funny, but I've been playing Influencer Story. It's like a Kim Kardashian Hollywood ripoff or dupe. Maybe I'll bring it to my channel. It's kind of a fashion game. I mean, technically it is. I mean, there's probably some crazy stuff. Oh, but let me tell you about a game that is extremely greedy. Influencer Story is the greediest game I've ever played. They have events that last like 3 days, and where you earn like 2,000 coins in 3 days, but then the items will cost like 15,000 coins to complete, like outfits. So it's like, okay, now you need to spend $100 to complete this outfit. It's like, girl, and the outfits are not even cute. No shade. There's some cute stuff in Influencer Story. I actually like the story of it all because it reminds me of like Kim Kardashian Hollywood. And that game was such a comfort game back in the day. If you are also a fellow Kim Kardashian Hollywood stan, like I was on my little iPad back in the day with those little diamonds that like I would just, put it on my mom's credit card and keep it pushing. But yeah, I loved Kim Kardashian Hollywood, and Influencer Story gives that same energy, but I would say do not spend money on that game. No shade. I might get the, like the battle pass or like the, the gem pass or whatever it is. Like, in the future, I'm still F2P in that game completely, mind you. But yeah, no, that game is crazy with the spending. With the, like on my leaderboard, which I'm pretty sure you get like a leaderboard based on how long you've been playing. I have like 250,000 fame. People have like 3 million already, and they've been swiping their cards, and that stuff ain't cheap, and it ain't cute either. Like Miss Kim Kardashian Hollywood, she wasn't the cutest clothes either, but Influencer Story, the clothes need some work. Some of them are really cute, obviously, because I'm playing the game and I'm playing mostly for the fashion element, somewhat for the story, somewhat for the nostalgia. But I'm having fun with it, and I'm trying my best. We're in like a video game drought right now, a fashion game drought, just because all of them are kind of like showing too much. So I was like, I just wanted to dive into influencer story because I always get ads for it. And I was like, why not? Because somebody was actually recommending that I play a game called Time Princess, but then I like go on YouTube looking for Time Princess videos, just to like see what the game is about. And of course, it's like controversial and there's a lot of issues with it. It's like, oh my gosh, like, can we catch a break from these games being problematic? But there's also going back to Shiny Nikki and Love Nikki. I think if you're not trying to support Paper and Fold right now, obviously those probably wouldn't be the choice for you. Because, yeah, that wouldn't be. I also find that Shiny Nikki doesn't really release sets that I'm all that interested in. I have like the monthly pass going in my Shiny Nikki right now, but I just have not been like engaged or interested in any of the sets that they release in Shiny Nikki. I don't know why. I have no idea why. And then of course Love Nikki. I played Love Nikki when I was younger, and so going back to it feels almost like not nostalgic in a way for whatever reason, because it's like I feel like I completed Love Nikki, and going back to it just like doesn't feel fun for whatever reason, because I have played SuitU, which is another 2D fashion game that's, in my opinion, barring controversy, of course, like the actual mechanics of the game, it's just more fun than Love Nikki. But obviously there's a lot of controversy with SuitU. We're not talking about SuitU. We've already discussed it in this video. But it's like, there's a few games to play. And of course, if you want to, you can go ahead and play the old Style Savvy games on. You can emulate them. You can get a 3DS, you know, is what it is. They're old games. Support them if you want. Buy a physical copy if you really want to, but like, it doesn't support the game anymore. You can't buy those new. So, anyway, I feel like to kind of move forward from this video, what did we think? What did we see? Is it predatory companies? Is it issues with the community? Is it unrealistic expectations? I'm still not 100% sure. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. I just think that I'm disappointed in these games and these companies, because this market is so excited and this market is so eager to engage with this content. So it's like, just give these audiences like what they're asking for, and you will make money. You will make money. I believe you will make a lot of money. So, you know, people are going to spend, people aren't going to spend. It is what it is. Otherwise, I would like to just have this video be my kind of address to my community about what I'm thinking and how I'm moving forward with these games. So let me know down below in the comments, how do you feel? Where do you stand? And what games would you like to see me cover in the future? It doesn't have to be fashion games. I've been playing Cookie Run Kingdom lately. That new, what is her name? Like Sweet Sugar Cookie, the new Ancient Cookie or Beast Cookie or Epic Cookie or whatever cookie. She's cute. And we might be making a little video on my tier list of Cookie Run Kingdom, because those cookies are so cute. Like, girl, influencer story needs a little like check-in. And also, Cookie Run Kingdom is technically a fashion game because you can now customize your character. See? Everything is a fashion game if you allow it to be. I'm looking at you, Enzoy. But why are you so boring? Not the Enzoy shade. Okay, sorry, Enzoy. That was a stray. That was a stray. Like, I don't know. But you are a little boring. No shade. Everything is a fashion game. Even Pokemon TCG Live. You can dress up your character there too. So whatever fashion game you want me to play, whatever game you want me to play, I'm open-minded. You know that. I would love to do like a variant of Pokemon X and Y as well that like had fashion elements, because obviously that's the one with the boutique. I think other Pokemon games have boutiques, but X and Y is the boutique. So let me know down below in the comments, because it's hard to cover some of these games because I just don't like negativity. I don't like think negativity is wrong, but it's like I'm doing this to have fun. I'm making these videos for fun. I don't get paid for these videos. I'm just a girl behind a computer screen with a little fuzzy pink microphone having a conversation with myself. And you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be upset about these issues. I'm just saying, like, I'm also trying to enjoy both playing games and creating content about them. So I will not be creating content on games that are controversial or like bring me negative comments and negative messages, because it's like, it's just not worth it for me. It's just not worth it for me. So if you see me covering certain games less or not covering them at all, just come back to this video and maybe leave me a comment or message me on Discord about it, and I might respond, or I might not, depending on how I'm feeling. Because at the end of the day, like, I also have jobs, I have work to do, I have things that are going on in my life, and people in my life that I care about, and events. So it's like, yes, I want to address the controversy, and I want to leave the controversy and the discourse to this video so that we can just move on and create positive content together and have fun exploring games, whatever those games might be. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and until next time, bye everybody.